Now that you're done tracing over all your lines with Sharpie, you could do a few things to make it look more interesting. You could go back, and if you didn't color in your letters, you could color in the letters so that they were solid. That would make them stand out more because they were bold. You could also use an eraser and erase any pencil lines that you still see. Especially with the skinny Sharpie, it's sometimes hard to stay right on your pencil line as you're tracing. And that would clean it up. The next step that we'll show is how to cut your hand out. So when you cut, you'll hold your scissors. You put 2 fingers in the larger hole of the scissors if it has a larger shape, and then your thumb goes in the other smaller shape. You will hold your paper with one hand and your scissors with the other. And as you cut, you need to keep your scissors up and down. They shouldn't turn to the side like this. They should stay up and down, and you will have to move your hand that's holding the paper so that you can securely hold the paper and the paper doesn't start to bend. So as I get to my thumb here, I might want to start to think about doing what we call a bubble cut around the fingers. So instead of trying to cut into all the grooves between my fingers right away, I could just take and cut around the edge like this. And now I could cut in between my fingers easily, holding the paper, turning the paper so that my scissors stay up and down. And notice my paper is turning, not my scissors. My elbows stay by my side. And trying to create nice, smooth cutting edges, staying on the lines, keeping everything attached so when I am done, I have one single piece. So there, I'm going to cut down the inside of that finger, and then I can come over to this finger and cut down the inside of this finger to get to that point, because otherwise that point is really hard to cut. Once you're finished cutting out your hand and you've erased any pencil marks and it is ready to turn in, you're going to critique yourself. So you're going to read through this chart and give yourself a yes, a sometimes, or no for the 3 rows here. So in the first row, we're talking about meeting the objectives, that you have all of these design requirements. And your thumb, something that you're good at, and your pointer finger, your favorite color, and your middle finger, your favorite animal. On your ring finger, your birthday, the month and the day. On your pinky finger, the class code. And then on your arm, names, the letters that touch the sides of the space, and 4 patterns that fill the space. Each pattern should represent an emotion from the zones of regulation. If yes, you have all 6 of those, then you would come up to the chart and you would mark yes. If you have 5 to 4 of those, you would be a sometimes, and you have 3 to 0, then you would be a no. Then you move down to the next row. My hand is cut out neatly. I stayed on the lines. I cut smooth edges. All parts are attached. If areas are colored, I followed 3-star coloring guidelines. I stayed in the lines, colored in one direction, and used even pressure. So if yes, yours is very neat and you did all of these, you could put a mark in the yes box. If you feel you could have improved and sometimes you did these, then you'd be a sometimes. If no, it's pretty messy, you could have done a lot better, you'd be a no. And then the last one is your manual skills or your drawing. All my lines for my name and patterns are neatly drawn. My letters can be read and pattern are organized. So again, a yes, sometimes, or no. Then, in this next part, under 2, you're going to think about your behavior during this project. In the box in front of the 4 categories, you're going to write a Y for yes, an S for sometimes, and an N for not often. So yes, you're respectful. Yes, you're responsible. Yes, you're resourceful. Yes, you're safe. So these go back to our above the line. Have you, throughout this project, been respectful to the people in your classroom, to that community? Have you been responsible, taking care of your stuff, keeping on track? Have you been resourceful, able to kind of think about problem solving, knowing where your resources are, your supplies? Have you been safe, using materials correctly, especially the scissors? So again, for each of these, you'd put a Y if yes, you do them all the time, an S if you sometimes do them, and an N if you not often do them. You need some reminders, would be an N. When you're finished with this, make sure your name is at the top, and then you can turn your hand in to the turn-in spot for your class.